watching and listening to Conscious Evolution Media, shifting global consciousness at consciousevolutionmedia.com.
Today's podcast is brought to you by Kids Talk Foundation, a global nonprofit organization providing youth advocacy, television programming, and training services in the United States, along with comprehensive medical and educational services for the developing world, most recently in Kenya, Africa, where Kids Talk Foundation provides a feeding program, medical care, and educational services to over 1,300 young people each day. Please help our youth and place your donation. Go to www.kidstalk.org. Are you in the entertainment industry? If you answered yes and you want to promote yourself, your passion, and profession, check out Creative Independent Artist magazines at CIAartists.com. Endorsed by Kids Talk Foundation worldwide. You can hear shows from Real Coaching Radio TV network while on the go with Stitcher Smart Radio. Stitcher is a free news and talk mobile app available for your smartphones, smart TVs, and cars. And when you download Stitcher to hear shows from Real Coaching Radio TV network, you have a chance to win some money. Downloading is quick and easy. Just find Stitcher in the App Store. Download it. It's free and just takes a few seconds. Then, during registration, hit the promo code box and enter RCRN to get automatically entered to win $100. The latest episode of the shows will be waiting for you in your favorites. You'll get access to lots of other amazing shows too. Always available to you on demand. No syncing. It's Stitcher Smart Radio. Don't forget to enter promo code RCRN when you register at www.stitcher.com/RCRN.
Maxed Out Money Hour is your internet TV program all about money and what makes it go around to have it work for you, or not. Host Ninan and Coach Steve will be featuring informative interviews with financial companies, CEOs, and executives, providing insights into the financial world and their products, services, operations, and an outlook for our financial future. Here are your hosts, Ninan and Coach Steve.
Welcome everybody on this beautiful Tuesday evening. We are full of snow at the studio, enjoying the snow, the white. I want to welcome Ninan DeVerderosa, my co-host.
Hi,
and
Steve.
Also Chris Miller, our guest from California. Ninan is joining us from Las Vegas. I'm joining us from Denver. Which
yeah,
is
all
where
that snow, it sounds beautiful. We're not snow here, but we're very cold. It's freezing here at night. Oof, but we had the sun all day.
You gotta come to California.
I just left California.
been there, done that. Thank you.
Yeah. So what's up, Steve? What's going on? What's happening?
Well, I actually read something in the news today that was very aligned with what we're going to be talking about this evening. And the headline was that death holds many boomers back from retirement. And what's in the article is that we boomers are not saving enough money. We are one medical emergency from bankruptcy. We are more than $500,000 short on retirement savings, which means most of us will have to work for a lot longer than we hope to work. And that a very large percentage, this even surprised me, the article said that between 25 to 30% of retirees, these are people over 65, have lots of debt, still have mortgages, and still have student loans. That blew me away, because it means, I mean, when you retire, do you want to think about?
You're gonna be kidding.
Do you want to think about? Do you want to think about these things?
No. That's why they buried them all. They buried them under their little pillow. That's why. You know something, Steve. It's very, very hard for people to actually face facts. And I'm not saying at an older age, a young age, or a middle age. People don't really like to face the problem. It's like Oh, later, always later. And then like 50 years later, you say, well, wait a second, what's going on? And I think a lot of people are like that. We all figure out that it'll work out, it'll all be fine, and someone will take care of us down the line, so we don't have to worry, which gives a burden on our children, because then the children feel guilty about not helping their mum and dad, or their mum, or just their dad, or relatives, or whoever it is. They feel guilty, and then the burden's put on them. Then their financial status goes down because they got to take care of them. So now they can't save. So this is an ever-rolling ball.
Right.
Are we not right, Chris?
Absolutely. You guys hit it right on the head. Any better than that?
Well,
I mean,
in a way, I don't feel that bad, Chris and Ninon, because I have 3 kids, and I went through, in the early days, taking care of them and changed their diapers. I think there's nothing wrong with having the roles reversed.
Go that way, but a lot of people, like my parents, did not want me to change their diapers, and they wanted me to live my own life, so they wouldn't allow me to take care of them.
I'm just kidding. I'm not being serious.
A lot of them are thinking about... I just wanted to mention one thing while we're doing the intro here, Steve, before we get into the program, was that to be aware of what lawyers are doing out there. There's a lawsuit going on now with a particular lawyer. I think it's a $10 million lawsuit where he's actually been fraudulent in mortgage loans. He's been getting mortgage loans from someplace. I'm not going to mention names or a lot of details, but I just want our generation out there, especially the older generation, to be aware of what is going on out there, to make sure what lawyer they're dealing with, because this particular man, what he's done is really very fraudulent, and he's made up these loan papers and made up all this stuff and taken their money, and they have nothing. So I just want them to be aware of that, but also, you know, this gives a bad infringement on the good lawyers. You know, you've got a lot of good lawyers. So I think all I'm trying to say out there is be aware, especially when you're older, when you look at somebody and you want to trust them. Be careful. Just be very careful out there, because this is definitely something of today where everybody is fighting to make money in a very bad, fraudulent way, especially with the older generation, because the older generation trust whom they're dealing with and don't trust as much.
Right.
Like that, a good quote out there. Just be careful, right, Chris, Steve?
Yeah, well, be responsible.
I've seen
the heck with being careful. Be responsible.
Yeah, be responsible.
Right.
Yeah, everybody needs to be responsible for themselves.
That's
and
right.
They should be responsible to educate themselves enough. Nobody out there, like this show, we providing incredible amount of education. People need to educate themselves. They don't need to become financial experts. They just need to be educated enough so that they can make the right choices for themselves.
Exactly.
Exactly. Yeah, don't worry about the next door neighbor or anybody else. And I'm not saying ignore them, but really take the first responsibility is yourself. Is that correct, Chris?
Absolutely. That's why I put everything that I've learned in the last 20 plus years in a book, so people could be in control of their own estate, and they wouldn't have to farm it off to a broker or to an attorney, that they would know what's going on. And that's exactly what everybody needs to do, because it's hard to trust people, but the information is out there, and a lot of it has been withheld. I'm really excited about you reading that article, because that's exactly the theme of my whole book. Ready for Pre-Retirement is most of my clients in the last 20 plus years that would come in and start planning at 70 and 80 years old. I mean, nobody...
That's ridiculous.
It's crazy, but it's procrastination that is the biggest, that's what everybody uses to put it off.
And I just want to put a correction in there for myself, not to critique you, Chris, but it's not hard to trust people. It's actually very easy to trust people. What's hard for people is to be responsible. Big distinction. People rather find somebody to point the finger at, that this happened to me because so-and-so did this, and this, and this, and this.
Take responsibility,
But that person wouldn't have done this, and this, and this, and this.
You're absolutely right. It's that you are the person that has to take that responsibility. Absolutely right. Yeah.
Exactly. What I was speaking to was that people can't trust each other. There's been so many bad attorneys or bad brokers that the one spoils it for the ones that are really trying to be honest and good. So
yeah, but that doesn't justify not everybody. For example, you could, I can guarantee you that I can look at BMW, Audi, and Mercedes, and within each one of those manufacturers, I can find customers that are not happy. That doesn't make that manufacturer a bad manufacturer, does it?
No, not at all. No. They may have got a lemon.
Yeah, or whatever. But that's not.
Or how they drive
works.
the car, or how they treat the car. If they don't change the oil, if they don't do a lot of things, that car can go into disaster stage. Whereas you've got the other person that has the same car that's sort of really looked after it and taken care of it because they have taken responsibility of a vehicle that takes them from A to B, and they don't have a problem. So it is responsible of yourself to take care of your stuff. You know, you've got a lot of stuff out there. Take care of it.
Right.
But you also point down here, we were talking about retirement, and you have people coming at 70 years old to start planning their retirement. You've got down here, you can start it at 20, 30, 40, 50. Probably the younger you start a retirement plan, which at a 20-year-old will not think of. So let's go to the 30-year-old. 30-year-olds are a little bit more reasonable, a little bit more responsible. So let's start at 30 and there's nothing to be ashamed of as thinking of your retirement, which is old. We're thinking retirement old. That's kind of the word that nobody likes.
Right.
But don't think of it that way. Think of it as of being responsible.
Right, and as a lifestyle, you want to have a good lifestyle, you want to be comfortable, you want to do the same things you're doing now. So that's why you do one less latte and you start your retirement fund. And there's some amazing things with the kids that are in their 30s that I wish I would have known about. The Equity Index Universal Life Insurance Policy, where if they just overfund that, you can create those really neat to where you could overfund them, and 20 or 30 years later when you go to reach in for the money, guess what? You get it tax-free. Now, how amazing will that be to get it tax-free in the economy that we're in? So there are some really neat things out there that really aren't talked about. They're secrets. They're really
Chris,
not known about.
You're not going to get the latte companies to sponsor you by talking to them this way.
She doesn't want them to. You know, another good point of this, which I would like to bring up, a lot of women, married women that I know that have been married for, 20, 30, 40, 50 years, and they have kind of left everything up to their husband. And then, and I did this, so I'm a prize example, but things didn't work out too badly, but I am an example of it. And you kind of leave everything up to them because they kind of, if you're a woman like I am, I come from Europe, and the man really takes care of all the money, and you think, which you shouldn't, you think he's responsible, he's taking care of everything. Shouldn't the woman sort of get involved, not necessarily in the financial pattern, but in the retirement pattern, and just be able to ask her husband or boyfriend, or whatever the case is, to exactly how has he sort of laid out the plan for their retirement in case he goes first? Because it's always usually the man goes first. Women should get involved in that.
So before Chris even answers, I just want to put something in. Okay, so I believe, because I used to be in finance for 9 years, and I've seen a lot of people's financials. I'm sure Chris has too. I actually feel that married couples should have separate accounts, and they should have a joint account that they both put money in to take care of the bills. Because if anything happens in this marriage, and as we all know, there are things happening in these marriages today more than 53% of the time, which means 5 out of every 10 people get divorced. It gets very ugly financially when people are married and they have everything in one account. What do you say about that, Chris?
Actually, I was talking about the people that have been married a little older, where women are trusted to take the husband. They haven't really got involved in that. So when they do reach about 60, 70, and the husband passes away, all of a sudden there's no retirement, there's no nothing, because she hasn't been involved.
I can't tell you how many people I've seen that has happened to, where the husband goes away and the wife is sitting there like, I don't even know how to fill out a checkbook.
But that's what I'm exactly saying. They gotta be involved.
That's what I was saying.
They gotta be involved.
And that's
And
why
the best way to be involved.
Both
Yeah.
of them need to be part of the retirement process and plan it together. How many couples ever had the conversation of what happens if something happens to you? What do we do? What if you go incapacitated? What am I going to do? How am I going to pay for it? Who's going to take care of the kids? We need to talk about this, and that is, Nina, that is such an important thing that you mentioned.
And they're afraid. The women are afraid, especially when they've been married for a long time, because they're very, very used to the old school. I wasn't afraid of asking my husband. I never thought to ask him. I just thought it was easy. And he had it all planned out. He had nothing, no retirement at all. Nothing.
Right. And you didn't know about it, you mean?
No,
Yeah.
I didn't even think. No, I didn't even think to ask about it.
Yeah.
That's how
And
I
that's
relied on him.
that goes back to the beginning of what you guys were talking about, responsibility. So each partner becomes responsible in this joint venture of a marriage, and whether you plan on having separate accounts or a joint account, or you need to do it together. You need to talk about it together. What happens if we go out to dinner and don't come back? Who's going to take care of the kids? So all that has to be in place on paper. And it's not like you're a pessimist. You can still be an optimist and still get a living trust and get all your documents in place and, make all those plans together. So that's being smart. That's smart money. That's smart planning.
So guess what? This has been like a runaway train. We never introduced Chris formally, so I'm going to take a moment and introduce her formally. So I want to welcome Chris Miller. She is the Money Maestro, and she's a retirement and living trust expert. So Chris, welcome to our show, Maxed Out Money Hour.
Thank you. I'm really glad to be here. You guys are fun.
And that's
But she's
22
also
minutes
in the
after
music
the hour.
business. Steve, you forgot
Yes.
her music career. She's also in the music business, aren't you, Chris?
Yeah, I have songs on the radio all over the world, and I write.
I forgot, but
music.
you didn't.
And I also, right now, I'm writing songs for best-selling authors. We just wrote a song for Brendan Burchard, Did I Matter, for his book, Millionaire Messenger, and we're writing some songs for other bestsellers, which is a kind of a new little sidetrack that I've gone on. It's really fun. But the best thing is just taking your heart, being able to bring it out and share it in song is my favorite thing to do, really.
So this is kind of your fun part of life, is writing music, and that's your sort of having a fun time, and then you've got your serious moments, of course, with the retirement. What is the name of your new book that apparently you're telling me it's on the top of the list?
That's right. I got
brag about it. Come on, brag.
Okay, I get to brag. I have a #1 bestseller last week. I just got my #1 bestseller. The book is called Ready for Pre-Retirement: 3 Secrets for Safe Money and a Fabulous Future. And the book is Ready for Pre-Retirement, PRETIREMENT.com. Why pre-retirement? Plan retirement early, right? Before, so your money is there, your money, your health, and your peace of mind is there when you need it. Because you can have all the money in the world and not have peace of mind or your health. So it's all important to have the best estate plan. So thank you very much for mentioning my book. But what it does is it actually lets people know, it empowers them that they can actually take steps themselves, and it gives them what they need to do. There's little checklists in there, so they can actually start planning right from the beginning when they read the book.
And that would make them feel very comfortable too, to know that inside of them that they've got it all worked out and everything's fine. So that gives them a little bit more of sort of like a peace of mind. It makes them feel good.
Yeah. It does. I had one woman come up to me. She read the book and she said, "I'm so happy I can write in this book, and my kids know what, and I'm actually getting organized." To me, this is exciting, because my challenge is, I've been in practice for 22 plus years, and I'm taking everything that I've done and I'm creating a digital version. I want to empower everybody to know what I know, because I know some secrets that just learned over time that are there, but you got to really drill down to find those. So I want everybody to have that peace of mind. The reason my clients love me is, and this is another brag, but glory to God.
Go ahead.
I have not lost $1, not $1 of my clients' money. So I know safe places to put money that you actually make money. So it's pretty exciting to take all of that, and I'm creating an online course. And I'm working with an attorney. We have software so people can create their own trusts and powers of attorney and estate plans, so they will be empowered and they will have control of their own estate.
And would that be their own website, like a one-page website that they would actually have for themselves, that they could get all their information, all their stuff?
Well, it's an evergreen site, but the information, they actually will download it. It'll be a trust. They can download a whole living trust, a power of attorney for financial, for health.
A template. They can fill it out for themselves.
Business documents, all the documents that they need.
These are templates, right?
Our technical advisor is telling us it's a template, right?
Yeah, a template that you fill in your own information.
Yes.
Then if you have tax issues, of course, you take your trust to your tax advisor. If you have larger estates, you want to know some, techniques to avoid estate tax and things like that. But the basic things of just having a power of attorney, just say, Mr. and Mrs. Jones that are just got married and they're in their 30s, they can get that guardianship and the power of attorney so they make sure their kids are taken care of. Maybe they don't have any assets yet for a living trust, but they'll be able to do all of those things. And what thrills me is that they'll be in control. They'll know what's going on. So when they do talk to other planners or attorneys, they will. You
brought up something very, very good. You said power of attorney. I think we all think about a power of attorney when we're 70 or 80, because we're thinking we're near the end of our time. But you just mentioned you can have power of attorney in line at a very young age, because something could actually happen to you at a young age. And so you can have that. And most people don't know that you can have power of attorney at really any time.
For financial and for health care. I mean, you never know. I lost a niece at 20 years old and there wasn't anything wrong with her. So, it's not an age-driven thing. And people, that's what you were talking about earlier. People think of retirement and they think of death. When retirement is just the time when all your dreams come true and you start living a second life. If you plan to go to 100, 105, which is how you should set your goals, right?
Of course.
You can have a second life.
Well, I would say retirement is that you get to be a kid again, but this time it's with money and wisdom.
Right.
Correct. That's exactly what Chris is trying to teach and trying to help people with, so they can have this retirement instead of being a big headache and not knowing what's going on. Have everything in order, be responsible, and have a great life.
Exactly.
So remember
to never have to worry about losing $1 really gives you lots of peace of mind to know that all those things are taken care of, like the long-term care that, God forbid, 7 out of 10 of us over 65 end up in a convalescent home. You know what? It's not an age-driven thing, because 3 out of 7 under 65 end up in a convalescent home. So if I go skiing and I break my leg, I'm going to a nursing home. Why? They have a rule in the hospital called the DRG rule, which means get you out of there as soon as possible. So if you're there longer than 3 days, they get less money. So they want to ship you out to the nursing home so that they can get the money. And that's really what they do.
Wow.
And so that's
get somebody else in there.
So
it's like the restaurants in New York. You can't stay too long because people are waiting.
But you're right. I still haven't got used to the dining in America, because I'm from Europe. And we have a table we book at 8 o'clock at night. We don't normally have it before that. it would be too early. 7:30 would be too early. 8 o'clock normally, and we have that table for the rest of the evening. Here, they bring you a check, and I say to my partner, did we ask for a check? Are we leaving? Like, where are we going? I still haven't got used to that, Stephen. That's really quite funny.
Yeah. All right. So you ladies remember when I was talking about at the beginning of the show that the baby boomers are $500,000 short of what they should have in their retirement fund. Well, let's talk about that. So what's up with these boomers? Because I suspect that most of that money is missing because they've been putting all their eggs in the 401k basket, and 401k's been, messed around with on the stock market, and everybody was hoping that they're always going to be winning on the stock market, and that's not the way the stock market works.
Right. And that's exactly what happened. I'll tell you, it surprises me again how many clients I have that come in and I'll go, where's your 401k? And they'll go, or where's your IRA? And they'll go, at the bank. And I go, where at the bank? They have no idea that these products that those are headings over the product, that their 401k is invested somewhere. They haven't even found that out. They just got to work and this all started happening. They didn't really even realize that their money was put in the stock market at risk. And I believe that model is over with. The market that you've got to risk your money to make money is an old model, and it doesn't work anymore. I think my belief is safe money. That there are some amazing places out there.
And what is safe money? What is that?
Safe money is, let's just say you had an IRA and you had $100,000 in the IRA, and you've had it in a place in the market, and you've lost half of it. So you could actually get out of there, roll it over tax-free.
Okay, but hold on, Chris. I want to make this clear before we go there. I want to make this clear. So the reason why people lose money because they're not managing where the money is. See, if you are a serious person playing on the stock market, you got to pay attention what's happening with these companies that you own stocks in. And you gotta sell and you gotta buy when the market is right. If you just let the money sit there, what happens, Chris?
Well, the majority of people don't even know what's going on.
Yeah, that's the old model, but there's a new model because a lot of people don't have the wherewithal. You can't time the market. Nobody's timed the market. And it isn't like you buy it and you wait 20 years. We're not in that economy anymore. That's over with, honestly. The way that let me just share this with you, back to what I was saying. Let's just say someone wants to be safe, okay? They want to have safe money. So they roll their money over, tax-free. They get a 10 or 12% bonus. So say you have $100,000, you make $12 in the roll, and guess what? They add 6.5 interest compounded for an income count. The income count will pay out. They will never outlive that money. And if they pass away, whatever's in there goes to their spouse or their kids. That's pretty good in this economy. You never lose your principal. So it's getting the growth of the market. It can attach to the indexes like the S&P and get the growth of the market, adds it to the money, but you never risk your principal. It's really sweet. Now guess what? That's one of the secrets of my book, and that has been around since the Middle Ages. That's what gets me a little bit angry. The Middle Ages. Does anybody know about it really? No, because your broker wants you in the market. They want to. That's where they make the money. Every time they move money, they make money. When you get an annuity, it's a one-time sell for the agent. So, it's not like being in the market where you make money every time. So you have to have a little bit of a heart to be doing it, especially with older ages. So,
I don't think most people, or especially older, most of them know that when you put money into a bank or wherever you put money into, that those people actually use your money and make more money with it. It doesn't just, your 100,000 doesn't sit in a bank sitting waiting for you making money. they actually make money with, and I don't think most people know that.
That's
actually once you put it in the bank, it disappears. It doesn't even exist. It's just paper. It becomes a piece of data. It's zeros and one.
But it doesn't disappear.
Well, guess what?
The other people are making money on it.
Right. On what? Real estate.
On whatever they decide. Whatever they decide to make money on it. But it's not sitting there waiting for you. They are making money on your money.
That's right.
And I don't think people understand that.
Guess what? Here's one more to add to that. The FDIC, the one that you think is backing your money, is broke. Oh, yeah? Well, they'll give me a $500,000 loan. I did this, seriously.
Newsflash!
$100 you have in a bank, they have 58 cents to your $100. Every $100 you have with an insurance company, they are under a federal regulation, and they have 125 to 135 to your 100. So the FDIC says, well, we'll pay you that $500,000 after they'll give your grandkids the IOU, and you'll get paid back after we pay back China. You get where I'm going with this? It's not a very safe place to have your money, and the FDIC is broke, and there's 700, the last time, that was a year ago, it might be 700 banks on the watch list right now. Hello? On the watch list. And guess what the FDIC did? This is what I heard. They went out and rehired people that used to work at the FDIC so that they can go back, go to those banks. They have to individually raid the bank like the DEA and replace all the people in the bank, you know, when the bank doesn't know they're coming, so they can get all the records. So there's 700 banks right now that are in line for this because there's no money there. So there's lots of cliffs that are coming to this economy. It isn't just the fiscal cliff and the ceiling and, you know, there's a lot of cliffs
What
coming.
would you advise right now for somebody, I'm going to go up a little bit, somebody probably 50 to 60, what would you advise them? They've got money and they're listening to this program, hopefully. And where would you advise them to go for their money? Because I know the stock market, Wall Street, has never done so well as it's doing right now. But a lot of people don't know how to handle it. They have no idea how to work it. They don't know anything. What is your best advice for somebody 50, 60 that's got a little money around and they'd like to invest it to make some money, not just 1%, 2%, make some nice percentage on it? What would you say?
Well, my favorite thing is, and this is where I put my money, I got out of the stock market. I have a little bit in there, but not much. I put my money in an equity index annuity. Now, I'm not going to sell companies because there's some good ones and there's lousy ones, but the one that I put my money in, and are A-rated, and like I said, I get a 6.5. Well, when I put it in a few years ago, I got 8%, but right now it's 6.5 interest compounded. Now, just forget about that for a few years, and that can really grow because it's tax deferred. So it grows 3 times as fast. So that's my favorite place because I get the growth of the market without risking my principal. It's really sweet. You know, and last year I made almost 6% on one of my accounts, doing very well, and I don't really watch if the market goes. I don't care because I'm not risking my money. I feel bad for my clients that don't do that, or people that don't do that. And this little up thing right now is, you know, don't hold your breath. You know, there are so many cliffs coming that, and I'm an optimist. I'm not a pessimist. I'm just
wow.
You know.
What about real estate? Do you think they should invest in real estate right now? Because it's kind of a low.
My mortgage friends are telling me they're great for you know, gardens, but they're not going to be the kind of investments that we used to have, you know, really in this kind of economy. It really used to grow really well. You might find some good ones here and there, but I wouldn't really put a whole lot in real estate right now. It's not the place to store your money. I like the money place. I like the place where I'm going to get my money back. Real estate, also, a lot of mortgage brokers and, you know, doctorates and mortgage and all those folks really say don't amortize. And I went, well, why? They say it's the time that you need a lot of your liquid money to work for you because the economy is so low. Interest rates are so low. So don't try to amortize and pay your mortgage, of course, but use that extra money to invest in safe money, annuities or index universal life. There's some great stuff. That's tax-free.
Okay, another quick question. There's a lot of people, older people out there that have their houses free and clear.
Right.
Would it be a good idea for them to get a loan against their house? Because they're not getting anything from their house.
Mm-hmm.
Get a loan and invest and putting that money into one of the things you've mentioned. Would that be a good idea? Not all. I mean, don't take it to the heart, but say they want to take 100,000 out. We'll deal with 100,000.
Sure.
Their house
Sure.
is worth, say, 200,000. They can take a $100,000 loan out of that. Would it be wise for them to invest it or just leave the house free and clear?
Well, it depends. It's hard to make a generic.
What the heck are they going to do with 100,000?
At the overall, but I think that in some situations that might be a good idea. In other situations, it sort of depends on their age and their health, and if there's two of them, and so right. I can't get the whole. I can't make a generic thing here.
Ninan has been having some internet issues, so let the system try to get her back.
Okay, I see her there in the picture.
Yeah, so she dropped at the beginning of the show before I actually started the show, so she's going to contact her internet provider. But so, getting back to you, Chris, remember at the beginning of the show I was talking about boomers and that a good 25 to 30% of the boomers are in a situation where they got credit card debt,
right? They
got still student loans,
yeah,
and all these other things, mortgages. What do you recommend to those folks?
Well, I think it's really good to pay off your debts. I'm really in favor of that, but do it as little. Pay off the debts and make out an arrangement. If you have a student loan, you can make arrangements with them. There are actually people that do that. They can get you a better rate and pay it off longer, so you can use more of your other money to invest, to make you money. And you're not going to make any money in things other than what we were talking about before, but that's really, really important because you don't want to be in debt, not at all.
How do you feel about a reverse mortgage for these folks?
That's my last resort, and and I would look at the reverse mortgage from what taking out the loan and really do some math on it, because that might, in some situations, might work out better to actually take a loan out if you can get, because the interest rates are so low right now for loans.
That's why, yes.
And you take that out and you put it in the equity index annuity. You get a 12% bonus. You make $12,000 on $100,000 right there, and then they add that interest. But it depends on the age of the people and the health and the overall of what they're trying to accomplish. Some situations when they're really older and maybe they don't have that much life left and they don't have any kids, or then it might be a good idea to do reverse mortgage. But I'm not. That is the last thing. I never really even talk about that.
Let's also not forget that when somebody takes a $100,000 loan out against their house that's been free and clear, the payments that you're making, the majority of the payment for the first half of the length of the loan is interest.
Right.
So let's make sure we're not skipping that over.
Mm-hmm.
I know that what you're saying is that interest rates are 3%, but if you got a $1,000 payment, more than 900 of it is interest, because that's how mortgage bankers make money. They make it up front.
And you can ask them, but you can ask them to put some towards principal when you pay it. People don't know that either. That when you're paying your monthly, you can ask them to put it towards principal.
Because there's three payments. There's principal only, principal interest, and then you can put more in if you want and have the payments lower. So there's usually three, and I don't know what they are now because I don't have one. But there's three different ways you can go to pay your loan.
Right. But the idea now for everybody is they have to become their own Social Security. They have to become their own agent, their own somebody who's going to care for you, right? Really. And you can't rely on anybody, and so then like in my book, or you get all the information, and then that enables you that you'll know what to do. People don't know. Nobody's gone to school for this, which is really another subject altogether.
Absolutely, and then also it's totally different now than it was 5 years ago. That's how fast it changed. I mean, I've been in real estate and been in loans for years and years and years. I've seen we used to have second loans and third loans and even a fourth loan. Now nobody wants to put a second loan on anything because that's like dead. So this has completely changed.
Right. But it's really important. That's why I talk about the 3 secrets, the 3 main things that you want to get ready for. You want to protect yourself from long-term care, catastrophic illness. Well, that's with a long-term care insurance if you're young enough and you can afford it. And 2, you want to make sure you have all your documents. If you own a home, you need a living trust. You need to have powers of attorney for financial and health and all of those documents in place. And 3, you want to put a bottom under your money. You want your money safe. Now, I know a lot of people really like Las Vegas and they can just woo-hoo and they don't mind.
Oh, Nina loves it.
Oh yeah, this is a different city. Oh, this is totally different to anything I have ever experienced. Nobody trusts you, and you have to say, well, what? Not nobody, because I've met some absolutely incredible people, and I've been here a year, and I'm just starting to like it. But this is definitely a place where people have lost a tremendous amount of money, and I have a lot of rentals, and it's always, well, did you gamble this week, or are you going to pay me the rent? What are we going to do? It's like I have to get to some of these people as soon as they get their check. I have to be at their front door before they gamble it. It's the strangest thing, but once you get the hang of it, like anything else, it's fine.
Mm-hmm. Right.
But it is hard. It's very difficult. But we have an awful lot of retirees here too, because there's an awful lot of advantages in Vegas for retired people, and we have a lot of 55 and over communities that you can actually buy homes. Nobody under 55 can buy the home.
Right. But see, what I was talking about with the casinos is the same thing as Wall Street. It's Wall Street casino. You can lose your principal. So if you like that experience, then just go ahead and put it in the stock market. And if you want to have it there when you need it, put it in a safe place.
Not because it knows.
That's what I like to tell people.
What about your book? Let's hear a little bit about this book, and where can people get it and find it and read it and all that stuff?
Okay, well, you can go to my website, which is Ready for Pre-Tirement. So that's ReadyForPretirement.com. You can get the book there, and when you're there, there's an article on the 3 myths about financial planning, which we've been kind of starting to talk about, because we could have a whole show on each topic. But
yeah, I was going to ask you a little bit more about each topic, but go ahead. So they can reach there. What about her phone number? Can they get?
You can reach out to me. You can call me at 951-926-4158, and I will give you what's called a financial fitness exam. I have a little questionnaire that I can send you. And on this show, I normally charge, I will offer it a half an hour for free, only on the show, because I'm charging other places. But it's called a financial fitness exam, and you fill the questionnaire out, and I will give you some illustrations, and I'll make you some recommendations of the things that we're talking about today. So you can call me at 951-926-4158, or you can email me at KRIS@readyforpretirement.com. My book's also on Amazon, but my website is a lot more exciting, and I have a blog, Chris Miller Money Maestro. Tons of articles on there, and it's a lot of fun.
Sounds exciting, doesn't it, Steve? Steve, you have something to say. What have you got to say, Steve?
She'll hopefully she won't make him do push-ups.
No.
Why not?
But even that
Why not?
will be good for them. Because people need to be responsible. Because people need
Right.
to be responsible. Yeah, why don't you write us a song about Maxed Out Money Hour?
Yes.
Evolution. Well, we could talk about
Or
that.
do a
offline.
song about conscious evolution media. All right,
Yeah,
but here we go. I am being called
You're called.
to do a commercial spot
Okay.
for our sponsor, Credit Cleaned Up. Did you know that more than 42 million people have bad credit? And guess what? The bankers and the loan people at the car dealers and all the places where you're trying to make a major purchase really don't mind that you have bad credit. Because it doesn't matter what you got, including bad credit, they will have a solution for you. Like in America, this is one of the things I love about America. Even if somebody says no to you about anything, there's a way to do anything.
That's true, right?
No, from
You can
one
get
end
around
to
it.
Another.
if this door closes, there's a whole bunch of more doors you can go through.
Right.
You can go under, you can go
Right.
over, you can go left, you can go right. One way or another, they're going to do it for you. And they really don't care. They're going to charge you 17% interest because they make money that way. Right, Ninan?
Absolutely, they do. All
Right.
the time. So what's this about this Credit Cleaned Up?
So Credit Cleaned Up, if you choose to be responsible, which is what we're hoping we can stimulate people to become responsible citizens and human beings. What a concept.
Yeah.
Be responsible.
Responsible human beings and citizens.
Okay.
Then you would
The way
be,
you're supposed to be.
yeah. You would be
Normal.
right now called to action by me, and you would go to creditcleanedup.com and you would sign up on your own. You don't even have to talk to anybody if you don't want to because you're embarrassed. We understand. You could just sign up yourself, get everything going. Guess what? On the website, we have something very interesting that I just noticed, which is right on the front page,
Uh-huh.
on the home page, which is, we just had a client that signed up with us 30 days ago. And within 30 days, that person, that client, had a 60% improvement on his TransUnion credit report. How do you like that?
I think that's amazing. Wow.
Less than 30 days.
Wonderful.
And that's
So-
kind of a personal relief because having bad credit, nobody wants bad credit. Nobody wants to tell anybody they have bad credit. It's like this
Right.
big secret. And then they can keep it a secret because, as you said, the banks, the car people, anybody really don't care because they're going to find a way around it so they can get their business.
Have anybody noticed that the bankers, the financial industry, and the credit reporting industry, none of them are working on improving the system? Have you noticed, Chris?
Right.
They are actually motivated not to.
Right.
They are not motivated, let me use a better word, inspired
Yeah.
not to improve the system.
Right.
Because they're making 17% on their money. What do they care? We'll make it fine.
Yes,
Right.
just like what Chris said, okay, the people that are in the business of the stock market, they're not inspired to go and sell products like what Chris
Right.
sells, because there isn't that much money in it.
Right.
Make sense?
And that,
I inspired myself.
No, you're
Oh,
getting all
oh,
excited.
oh
now.
my
You're gonna
God.
sign up
Oh
and
my
get
God.
it done.
I can't stand it.
yay!
I love it. I love it. I love it.
That's great. Well, you know, it's been around. Now, check that out. It's been around since the Middle Ages. Can you imagine that? Those products, annuities, they used them in the knights and the queen's day. You know, the queen would give a knight an annuity. That when you win the
Wow.
lotto ticket, you get an annuity. When you
And we're
get
just being
paid by the
featured.
government,
We're
you get
just
an
being featured on Block TV, and the show is almost over. Oh my God! So
There was
let's
little
continue.
Lincoln coming, but God bless them.
Let's continue this conversation just a little bit longer because this is so much fun. All right,
Yeah.
So in other words, nobody wants to clean their credit up. Well, no, this is like once again, the customer gets the bad end of the stick, as they
Right.
always
That's right.
seem to get. And
That's
I think
right.
we want to clarify the fact that with credit cleaned up, and they clean their credit up, they will not have to spend 17%. They can cut it down to whatever the percentage is, which could be 2%, 3%, 5%, whatever. But that will clean their credit up. I'd like to hear a little bit more about your book and what you want to give away, since we're on Blog TV, and thank you, Blog TV. Your book, you're going to give half an hour free lessons or something?
Yes, I'm
Chris?
going to give a financial fitness exam. So what
Without
I'm going
the-
to do is you go to your
without
doctor
the exercise.
and
the
you
physical
get a
exercise.
second opinion on your health, right?
Yes.
Well, I'm a second opinion for your wealth. So what I do is make some recommendations for your age and your wealth and your health and where you are in your life. I will make you some recommendations and actually give you some illustrations for our financial fitness exam. So all you have to do is just reach out to me, send me an email at Chris, K-R-I-S, at readyforpretirement.com. Or you can call me, 951-926-4158. You must remember the name of the show. That's
Yeah,
the truth.
maxed out money hour.
Money hour. That's
I
right.
know, and
All right,
I'm
so
not doing this everywhere.
Chris, I want to play with this for a minute because we're having so much fun, aren't we?
Okay,
Oh, good.
sure.
Yeah,
Right,
what
so
are we going to play with? Come on.
As you inviting people to do this,
Yeah.
which is
Uh-huh.
fantastic, and we appreciate it and we love it because it's in the benefit. What you're actually doing, you're providing value and you are serving our viewers
Yes.
Right.
and your potential clients. But here's the
Right.
thing. So as people hear you, not just live right now on Blog TV, but later on when they're watching the archive show or listening to the show in their cars, what do you think? Because this is about a conscious network, and there is such thing on our network as a financial evolution channel, which is where this show is. What do you think when people hear you, your invitation, what do you think is going on in people's head? And who is the one that's talking in their head? And what is it saying?
Well, most
just wanna play
people
with
have
this.
Most people have the little negative voice that goes on their
Ah,
head. It's
that's right.
pessimistic and can't
Right.
receive anything, and they think they know everything or they know what the person's talking about. And that little voice is the little voice isn't a very good friend. It actually makes you depressed and doesn't serve you. But it really has nothing. It's part of this. It's part of being in this body. It's not you. That's not really who you are, because
It deprives you of the answer. You're
Exactly.
depriving your body of the answer.
Exactly.
Well, actually,
because
their mind is closed,
That's
and who's
right.
in charge is
Mhm.
the past, the history of what they experienced before, and how many
Right.
times they've been,
burned
screwed
Let
over
down,
or burned or
let
whatever.
down, let
Yeah,
down.
whatever.
Keep it clean, Steve.
And they and they hey, we on internet TV. This is just like cable.
yeah, I know, but you
we're-
can still keep it clean.
You guys are too
We're
fast.
We're not gonna
The
get a
older
call from the
generation
FCC.
have. Cool down.
Okay, but you're right. So I apologize. But here's the thing. So what we want to recommend to people that's going on in their head is to say this. Thank you for sharing. I got it. Now I'd like to send you to a beautiful, wonderful vacation in Hawaii for a week.
Okay. With
And
the
then-
money they save, the
They
money
And
you
then pick
save-
up the phone and call Chris.
All right. That's
But they
right.
Because they can
Thank-
save all that money to actually do that. Steve, that was very well put. You
That was
put
great.
very well, because that is exactly what happens. And they also have a
Right.
beautiful free mind of knowing everything's in order and everything's taken care of, and they don't have to keep waking up and wondering, do I still have money, or don't I still have money, or is this still working, is that working? They'll have
Right.
everything in order.
Right. And you know what's kind of neat about what we do for people is that I'm there for you. You can call me anytime. If you had a question, and you work with me, it's not like you call me and I'm charging you by the hour or I'll never get back to you. We're there as long as I'm on Earth. I'm here to serve. So, I'm not trying to store all my treasures here, so that's why I have a heart in it, because to me that's more important than the money and the fame and all of that.
Like you just said, and I had somebody contradicted me on this, and I sent a whole bunch of women flying up in the air. I said to them something about serving, and it was actually serving your man, and not serving, but helping. Like you said, you're here to serve. I'm here to serve. I think serving. I serve children all the time, and I think serving is such a humble way of reaching to people, because if you want to do something for somebody else, you're actually serving them. And I think
exactly.
We all do that, and think of it as a good word, not as I'm serving them. As a good, kind, nice word to say. So I love
beautiful.
I love the way. Well, I've been dying to say this. I've been dying to correct these women that were a little bit upset with me because I said you're going to serve your man. I didn't mean literally serve him, but I mean, he serves you and you serve him in a beautiful way, and it's humbling to do that, but it's lovely to do that because the reactions are usually very beautiful. So I think what you do in helping all these older people with their retirement and their money and how they can actually help themselves and take responsibility is awesome.
It gives me so much joy. I really, it's that's my bank account. Those are my treasures for sure.
Yeah, and lots of people in the chat in Blog TV are asking questions, of course, because this is an interactive network. So
that's nice. I would like to do that.
Yoshio wants to know, what is this all about here? Well, it's all about money and finance, but it's all about in a different way that you normally think of it. It's about connecting our hearts to our minds and then think about money. And it's about how we can serve people and how can we provide value. And that also can only come from connecting our hearts to our mind. Because otherwise, if we leave the heart out, guess what happens?
Nothing.
All we have is the money sign on the front of our head, on our forehead.
I think to wrap this up into a very clean place is, if Steve wants to know, this is all about retirement, of making sure your retirement is in order, which can start at 30, 25, 30 years old, starting your retirement organizing. Don't think of retirement as being old. Think of it being very organized and responsible for what's going to happen to you later on in life. If you start at a young age, it's amazing how it will build up very, very fast, because you start at a young age and you've got all those years, you've got like 40 years of retirement stuff building up, right, Chris?
Oh, yeah, it's so amazing. I mean, if you see the numbers just in a few years of what can actually happen, that freedom it gives you, then you'll be able to give back. Because to me, that's the whole purpose of having money, is to help other people. Sure, you can get your little things you need, but to me, that is the biggest joy, of being able to give back and share what you've been given.
Yeah, helping other people.
That's it, right there, for sure.
I spoke to my stepdaughter, my younger stepdaughter, a little earlier today, and I said, I've just decided that I'm going to try and get myself in order and do my own thing. And she said, you've always helped other people, and that's I've always done is helping other people. And I said, yeah, but I'm kind of selfish on that. I said, because I get so much enjoyment and energy out of helping other people. So to me, it's not a problem. It's just, if they don't know something, like you said, you're giving these 3 secrets away in your book. These 3 big secrets that people don't want to share secrets. I happen to want to share secrets because I think it helps people. And you want to share secrets. I think that's beautiful.
Thank you. Exactly. People would say to me, "You're giving your whole business away," and I go, "That's the purpose. I want to just get me out of the picture. Then you'll have my business. Then you'll profit. Then you'll have peace of mind. Then you'll have all those blessings." So that's it, right there.
Well, there you go. Steve, I hope we answered your question.
Of course.
You, Steve, the Steve that called in. You as
and
well.
The bottom line, it was Yoshio. There was no Steve there. Okay, so fantastic. And Jimmy Rizzo, who I know personally, made some weird remarks, which I'm not going to repeat. So by the way, the only thing we're trying to do here is to inspire people. It's inspire people to take action, because what's missing, what we're finding in most people's way of getting through every day is they're not moving into action. They're hoping that someday their life is going to work out.
Right.
Right.
It will.
Take action.
If you're inspired to move into action now, so go to, guess what?
Creditcleanedup.com.
Creditcleanedup.com. And also to Chris's website, which is...
Ready for a pre-retirement.
That's right. I have a frog in
All
my throat. So this has been awesome. I think
Really?
we had lots of fun, and we delivered some very important messages, and we have provided value and served people. So thank you so much, Chris,
Thank
for
you.
making this happen.
Chris,
Thank you,
you,
Ninon.
Steve.
Thank you.
Thank you,
both
everybody.
so much.
The whole crew in there at Block TV. Thank you so much, and we'll see you, of course, next week, same place, same time, on the Maxed Out Money Hour, which is at 7 o'clock Mountain, and I'm going to repeat all the other time zones. Everybody has to figure it out and be responsible for themselves.
Right.
Love you all.
Love you.
Bye.
Love you,
Okay,
Chris.
God bless. Thank you, guys. That was great.
Awesome.
Super.
Bye-bye.
Today's
Thank you.
podcast is brought to you by ObesityHotline.com.
Who would
The
ever
silent
thought
killer,
death and
providing
taxes would be
support and
fun?
encouragement in the prevention of this rising epidemic. Featuring the Body by Vi Challenge. Is there a quick answer to the question? Go to www.obesityhotline.com. You're watching and listening to Conscious Evolution Media, shifting global consciousness at consciousevolutionmedia.com.